Hello world, how's everybody out there doing? Hopefully everybody is sensational. Welcome to another episode of Generational Health and Self-Love. I'm your host, Life.
It's your boy, Rhymeezy.
And today we got a very serious topic. Today's topic is, why don't we take our health more serious? That's the topic of That's the topic of today, because I know that it's like, for me anyway, I'm gonna speak on me and the people that I know. A lot of times I get onto social media and I constantly see someone has passed away. And majority of the times it's from them having health issues. It's from some type of, if it's diabetes, if it's heart disease, if it's just anything dealing with health, people are passing more and more and more than they did previous years. You know, in the past when I was growing up, you'd see people like older people pass, but it wasn't as often. Now, today, it don't matter the age. People are young, old, in the middle, people are passing at alarming rates, and majority of it is due to health and health issues.
Yeah, and what we seeing nowadays, and what we realizing is the food that is getting put out to our people, or people in general, is just getting worse and worse. They testing more and more things out to seeing what we're gonna be susceptible to, and seeing where we go. Are we gonna go for this or go for that? And it seems like we going for everything, and they trying more and more chemicals that is harming us. And that's what you see going on when you go through the timeline and look back to when our family was our older, like my dad or his mom and their mom was growing up. They ate regular, but their regular food was a lot healthier because they didn't add all these stuff in, prior. Back then they didn't have all that stuff. And I feel like since, they are gearing the foods that we eating more towards like eating with our eyes, we're not really caring about what it's actually in it because it looks a certain way. So that's why they can get away with the certain stuff so easily. Yeah,
when you look at these different commercials for food, the food look good. I can't even lie. You see all these different ads for different foods from these different restaurants, whether they fast food, whether they upscale restaurants. When you see the commercials, man, they advertising the food. They do a really good job. And what they do is it's like when you fishing and you throw that hook, everybody bites to that hook and they get stuck to it and they pull them right on in. And the next thing you know, you're sitting there with your family, a date, or whatever the case may be. And we just constantly eating this food. And over a period of time, the food starts to wear our body down because our body is in overtime. It's working over and over and over, nonstop, trying to break down this food that is foreign to the body. And for the body wants to do is naturally reject the food, because it's foreign to the body. So we got to understand that the food is not only harming us physically, but it's harming us mentally. And that's why you see us sometimes in a rage, and we'll go from 0 to 60, not understanding that it vibrates on a low level. So our way of thinking, the way that we act to certain problems and issues is on a lower level. So we act out with frustration. We act out aggressively, not knowing that a lot of this contributes to the stuff that we put in our body on a daily basis.
It's kind of interesting you bring up the commercials. Have you seen that KFC commercial?
Oh yeah. What
they was doing in the forest and all that.
Talk to them.
Oh yeah, I know y'all probably seen it, but in the KFC commercial they had like a dude walking out in the forest and a bunch of people was out there, and then they started carrying him and they brought him to a lake. They dipped him in the lake. It looked like a lake of oil, and then they brought him out and he was like a chicken. They brought him out and he came out the water and he was just a chicken wing.
A human chicken wing.
A human chicken wing. Now, so we're not gonna get into that aspect of things, but they showing you right in your face what's going on. But it's just like interesting how they just being straightforward now in these commercials.
And I don't know if you guys know, but like obesity, different heart diseases are one of the leading causes of death. And if you did know, you can do your own research. The third leading cause of death is medical malpractice. What does that mean? That means when you go to the hospital and you get prescribed different medications over a period of time, these things are killing our people. Like, these things are killing us at an all-time high, and no one they don't even bat an eye. They just like, okay, and they just keep going, and it's a cycle repeated over and over again. And when you tell somebody, or when you say, hey, look, when we talk about the subject of food, a lot of people don't like to have that conversation. A lot of people like, man, you know, they rather talk about sports and who had the most points and who had a triple double. Okay, fine, but what you gonna do when your body starts to break down and malfunction, and now you in the hospital, or you dealing with different diabetes or different diseases and health issues? We got to start understanding that prevention is the best cure. Don't wait till you get in a situation. And I'm saying, if you do get in one, still seek the right help, but just prevention is the best cure for anything.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you say that about the medicines and all that, because the people who have took control over the, you know, medical industry and all that, they did a smart move, you know, by taking us away from Mother Nature, taking us away from what used to be common knowledge with the herbs and natural healings and holistic health. And they introduced it from a young age, which they introduced medicine and medical, you know, getting seen by a doctor, you know, and going to the hospital at a young age. So now you think that the only way for you to heal or get better from something is going to the hospital or seeing a doctor, because that's all you know. How can you know something else or believe in something else if you never seen it? And growing up in today's world, you don't see holistic health. You don't see people going to herbs for real unless you got that in your family.
Yeah.
And herbs, because it's not passed along usually. Well, it is passed along, but you don't really see that as much as you see, you know, going to doctors, medicine, drugs, Adderall, all that stuff. So when you take it out, even when you take it out the people's minds, it don't even become a thing that people think about. So, you know what I'm saying? That's the way they did it was very smart and
strategic.
Yeah, strategic. So, you know, we got to do something about that. That's why we're speaking out.
Definitely. And just for everybody that's watching, think about the last time you truly felt unwell. How did that affect your daily life? How did it affect your relationship? Like the last time you didn't feel good at all, like I'm talking about in the bed, coughing, snot coming out, you know, just, you know, maybe even throwing up, whatever the case may be. Think about that last time you felt sick and how that made you feel. Think about how it affects your family, because you can't go to work or you can't do different things to help out around the house. You know, it just slows down everything that you got going on. And you never know what might, I remember just like thinking back, like, when my grandma was still living, and my grandma, she used to tell me, you know, ask me to go get some cigarettes for her. And when I became an adult and she asked me to get some cigarettes, I had refused. And my grandma was like, boy, you better go get me some cigarettes. And I was like, Grandma, I just don't want to contribute to causing you to have health issues. And she really, and at the time I wasn't as in a healthy lifestyle myself, but I never smoked cigarettes in my life, so that was a thing that I didn't drink. So I mean, I guess I would set myself up for where I am now, but I just felt bad to even, and I broke down and went and got them, but I stopped doing it because, you know, it just felt bad, you know, because I feel like I'm contributing to your unhealthy lifestyle, you know. And we had a great relationship, and you know, she even thought it was cute, but that's my grandma and I love her. And love sometimes is stern. Love is discipline. Love ain't always about making a person feel good. It's about being there for them even when they can't be there for themselves. So I just want you to really just think about the last time you were unhealthy and how that affects your day. Because for me, it's been a while, but the last time I was so long ago. And I'm telling you, I did not like it. And I didn't like all the pressure it put on my family and everybody around me at that time.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you brought that up about you and your grandma, because I used to be that way with my mom. And you know what I'm saying? She used to smoke, and I used to be like, nah, you know, she used to ask me, can you get my cigarettes? No, I cannot get your cigarettes, even though I'm still young. So, you know, I still did go, you know, get them. But I used to always make a fuss about it, try to hide them from her, throw them away, do something with them. And then she would always get mad. But what I realized from that is you kind of got to you can't be, you know what I'm saying? You can't force it upon somebody to make a change. You kind of just got to be there and be present and let them make their own choices. And then just being you and restraining from that, or just, you know, talking what you talk or saying stuff about it, it'll just gradually influence them if that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
If they're not going to do that, then that's not going to happen. But if you trying to aggressively, it's just going to, you know what I'm saying? Don't waste your energy, or don't exert that energy on something that you don't have no control over. Just be you, and that's all you could do, and that's it. And then what's it called? Oh yeah, she eventually stopped on her own, stopped doing that, slowly moving into like other things. But the cigarettes, she working on that on her own. Me trying to press her, I feel like only led her away from it. So you just gotta let it happen gradually.
Yeah, and natural, because you can run a person off, because when people come around, like I tell for those that we have any new viewers, for those who are new to the podcast, this is a father and son podcast as well. Generational health and self-love is all about what the name is. But anyway, you can run people off because people don't want to be put on the spot. People don't want you jabbing at their lifestyle, poking fun at their lifestyle, so to speak, because they kind of know, but a lot of people just don't have the strength to actually make that transition. So all you can do, the best way to help somebody is to continue to be the best version of yourself, and that will eventually rub off on them. After you go years of not being sick, you doing things that they like, wow, how you so active? I had a person working out with me half my age, and he like, man, how you got so much energy? I'm just like this, I'm just all the time. I'm just in go mode all the time. Sometimes my wife say, hey, you need to slow down because you just have so much energy. But when you crash, you crash. But to be able to get up, to be healthy, like I'm so thankful that I'm in the position I am as far as physically and mentally, to be healthy, and seeing so many people younger than me, some people older than me, some people my age, having these different health illness, having like so many people call me and say, hey, I'm on blood pressure. My blood pressure has been going up. They got me on blood pressure medication. I'm like, you 10 years old, younger than me. How are you on blood pressure medication? Or are you 7 or 8 years younger than me? And I ain't on nothing, so I'm just like, I'll be there for him, because if you ask me, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to keep it all the way honest with you. But I don't. One thing I learned once I transitioned into this lifestyle, do not try to force your way of living on people, because all you're going to do is drive them away from you. So we got to do a lot of people in the health, health lifestyle need to understand that you cannot force your way of living onto people. You got a job to give away the information. Those who want it, they'll pick it up. Those who don't, they just gonna let it go, because everyone's not gonna change. Some people are just comfortable being uncomfortable, and that's okay. But the ones who are there, who have an ear to listen, an eye to see, we definitely want you and your families, because we got to do something about the future. And what I mean by the future is the little ones that's coming up, because we still have a chance to save these babies out here in the way that they living, the lifestyle, and the food that they eating on a daily basis. It's just affecting them on a negative way, and they don't really understand. They really don't understand that the food, the music, the TV, just different things are contributing into our health. The stress will cause you to have a heart attack. Mm-hmm. Really. Oh, and this may be funny, but I don't mean it as a joke. This is a serious thing when we talk about high blood pressure. I don't really think a lot of people understand what hypertension is and how it can affect you in a way you would never see it coming. To all the men out there who have high blood pressure, listen to what I'm about to say. If you are dealing with high blood pressure, do everything you can to get rid of your high blood pressure, because I'm a man and I know men like to have sex. So understand this. Sex can be like working out. Sex can be aggressive depending on how you do your thing. Whatever you do, that's your business. All I'm saying is you can build that heart, go to pounding harder doing that type of activity, and you can cause yourself to have a brain aneurysm right in the middle of having sex. So you don't want to be like the guy on The Color Purple when they said, how did he die? And she said, on top of me. I'm telling you, that's a real thing in the world today. So please, like I say, it's not meant to be a joke, but those things actually happen. Men have passed during or as soon as they finish having sex, not understanding that their heart is already weak. So you put it in a position where you're making it work harder. So what did that do? It takes it to the point where it just can't take no more and just shut off on you. So not trying to be funny, I'm trying to be serious, because your health is your wealth. And without that, I don't care how much money you got, I don't care how smart you is, without your health, what do you really got? You really don't have nothing. So take your health serious. I know too many men on blood pressure medication. It's alarming as far as the rate of men and women on high blood pressure medication. So do yourself a favor and just start taking your health a lot more serious.
No, for sure. And just want to take a second, because I feel like it's been a little minute since y'all seen me and my pops, on the podcast, like in the room. So
Yes, sir.
hope y'all doing well. I don't know what y'all doing while y'all watching this currently, but love y'all. Y'all watching the video, y'all doing something good for yourself, so that's good. But let me get back into it.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to trying to help people, like you were saying, you can't be aggressive and all that. What I found that helps is changing yourself within changes your reality on the outside. Because I remember when I first was starting in high school and stuff, being a vegetarian and then going vegan, I was getting all the jokes, the people picking at you, saying this, that, and the other. But eventually, what came next was, people asking me certain questions, or people wondering how you do this, how you do that. If I wanted to get this, how would it happened only after I changed myself within. And then the people around me was seeing what the results of that, and surprised, and then they asked about this, they asked about that. So what you can do is just try to improve yourself, and then you'll improve your whole environment. That's why it's very important to have take care of yourself. And nowadays I feel like that's the last thing we get to do, because there's so many distractions out there. Phone, scrolling, and then other, dealing with friends, family. You got so many things. Bills. This just all this stuff on your mind. You just need to take a second sometimes and just think about yourself. And not to be saying that you should be selfish or nothing, but when you start to get in tune with yourself, you start to be more considerate to everybody else, because you start to understand certain things. So that's just something I think that we all should take some time to do, and to think about, because once you do that, you can start to change the world, because you'll see the results of those actions, man.
Yeah, and good habits can be hard to form, because most of us live a life of comfortability. We get comfortable and we settle, and we like, okay, I'm cool. This ain't difficult. I can do this or do that. But when you're trying to do a certain routine, when you're trying to be disciplined, when you try to be consistent, these things can be, for some, almost overwhelming, because it takes you out of your comfort zone. And when you're not comfortable, sometimes you will give up, because you're like, oh man, it's hard. But if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But if once you get into a different routine, once you start to conquer certain things, you start to feel good about yourself. You start to build a level of confidence about yourself. So understanding, like, I see so many people that I grew up with, and I see them on social media, and I ain't got nothing but love for them. But so many people have changed. Their physical appearance has changed drastically. And I'm like, wow. And I'm looking at people, no disrespect to them or nothing like that, but I'm seeing so many people overweight, stomachs out to here. I'm talking about men and women. And I know for a fact, when a person comes home and they take off their clothes and they see themselves, or get out the shower and they see themselves in the mirror, I know a lot of people not happy with what they see. But this the thing about that. You can change that. If you don't like what you see when you look in the mirror as far as your physical appearance, you can change that. And I think that now is the time to start. And if you're watching this episode right now, eating Doritos, you might want to put them Doritos up, because that's why your stomach hanging over your put them Doritos up. No, I'm just being serious, because we really gotta understand that this food, because we think, oh, these some chips, they ain't no big deal, No, they are a big deal. Everything that we consume is either doing two things. It's either having a negative effect on it or a positive effect on it. It's simple and plain as that.
Yeah,
so,
you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that when we not even saying that we think that everybody's changed. We think that the people that are trying to change and are watching this and want to, you know what I'm saying? This is sort of help them. This is really get you in that mindset. You kind of in between. You don't know, you know what I'm saying? You know you want to do better, but you know you're having trouble, you know.
But hold on, real quick. This is what I want to say. The name of this episode is Why Don't We Take Our Health Serious, right? And my thing is this. Everything we saying, what my son saying, what I'm saying, we own that. But this is the thing. People are dying. Like, seriously. People are dying on a day-to-day basis. Like, I'm seeing everybody like RIP this person. Oh man, this person. Like, we don't know when our time is coming. So we got to stop living like we got forever to change. Like, we don't have that much time here. So while we here, we should really start to focus on learning how to love ourselves, because everything we talking about as far as our health goes, that's a part of loving yourself and understand that you deserve better. You deserve better than having 3 or 4 bottles of medication that you take on a daily basis. You deserve better than having to, when you get out, when you go to putting your clothes on, you just got so much weight that when you go to putting your socks on and stuff, you breathing heavy, you sweating, you just got out the shower and you sweating hard. You know what I'm saying? Walking up and down the stairs, those things have you breathing heavy. We had to really sit back and ask ourselves, do I really truly love myself? Because if I do, why do I keep feeding myself things that's harming me? Why do I continue to be on this medication? Because these things are showing ourselves that we have been neglecting ourselves. And we got to learn how to love, because if we don't, our names will be the next name on social media that people are saying RIP to. This is what time we in. Right now, we don't got time to play no more. We got to take our health serious, especially if we dealing with, like, if you're a father, you're a mother, you got children, and you raising these children up. We got to change what we doing. I see people every weekend on social media out drinking. You can't take a picture without a drink in your hand. Not understanding all that turns into sugar, and what that does when it gets to the body. It just, man, we gotta go ahead, son. Go ahead. Because the thing about it is, people hear it, but people don't really want to be the change that they claim they are or want to be. Because people say, you know, I'm gonna start this diet, and the diet lasts 2-3 hours. We don't even give ourselves a chance at living a healthy lifestyle. Right now, people are running themselves in the ground. I mean, I see so many people, and I look at them, I'm like, dang, they don't even look the same. They aging, they growing bellies out the here looking like Santa Claus. They eating any and everything. And then after that, they drinking alcohol. It's like, what are we doing?
You know, see, the way I see it, if you're gonna be a person that wants that change for yourself, that's gonna be you. If you want to be the person, you know what I'm saying, that never reaches that point, then that's okay too. Where I really want from people is for them to be their true selves. I don't want somebody to be eating all this types of way and then be like, man, I'm so mad that I got this problem or that problem. Well, you chose that. You chose to eat this way. You chose to do that way. Accept it. If you're going to do that way, then do it proudly. Okay, you have that fun. You know what I'm saying? You drink those drinks and you suffer the consequences. Yeah. And don't try to be like, oh, man, now I got da-da-da. If you're going to do that, I'm saying do it and accept it. But if you don't want to be on that side and you want to try, you want to get somewhere farther, then at least at least ask yourself to just try. Just keep trying. If you're gonna fail, it's not if you're gonna fail.
Yeah,
you're gonna fail. Yeah, you just gotta get back up and keep going and keep going. That's all. That's life. This whole life, we're gonna keep doing the same some of the same stuff all our life. And we just gotta pick what that is for ourselves. What do we want to do? What is worth continuing to keep going? What brings you what I'm saying, that life, you know what I'm saying?
That brings you that happiness, that purpose, that joy, that drive, and it should be yourself. It should just be you. And then once you invest into yourself, everybody around you are going to benefit from wherever it is that you're doing in one way or another. And I'm not sitting up here, everybody's not going to be vegan, but one of the things that you can do, a small step that you can do, is just start eating smaller portions. Start eating smaller portions. That way your body don't work so hard. And these things can help you transition as well. Start just being more disciplined to what it is that you put in your mouth, because these things, like I said, are either going to have a negative or a positive effect on you. So it's just small steps, like learning and get more information, because the more information that you have, the more stability you can have as you move forward, if there's something that you want to do as far as a lifestyle change. And some of you people, some of us can start exercising too. And you ain't got to go to the gym. Like me, I used to go to the gym every day. Now I go to my garage. I got a little stuff in my garage. But even if you don't have that, it's just things that you can do. If you're watching TV, and maybe it's a commercial, because we don't really have commercials no more. But maybe let's say you got a commercial come on. Do some sit-ups. Even if you lay in the bed, do a few sit-ups. If you sitting on the couch, the commercial come on, do 10, 15 push-ups.
Just a push-up right now.
Yeah, just little things like that can start to have a small and then turn into a major effect on you over a period of time. Because let's say if you're in a relationship, the person that you're in a relationship with, they're going to notice that. And if they're not doing what you're doing, they're eventually going to want to jump on, because they're going to like, damn, you looking better. You looking good. They don't want to be left alone. You going out, you put them clothes on. They like, damn, you look nice. And they sitting over there looking like a train wreck. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to say, man, I want to look better too. Because you, without even saying or doing so much, just by your physical appearance, you make a person want to change and do better for themselves. We have that type of effect on people that we love. When we start to change, they start to change. And you don't really have to force your way of living on people. They will just benefit from you, from seeing the change in you, seeing the joy in you, seeing the excitement in you, seeing the different clothes that you're wearing now, that, you know, you had to go get a whole new wardrobe because you done lost weight. And now you wearing stuff that prior to you losing weight, you couldn't even see yourself wearing because of the way you was built. Now you have more confidence. Even being, if you're working, even being on a job, do you know the confidence that would do, just be on the job? Next thing you know, you walking through the job, you done got a raise, you done got what they call that, promotion. So I mean, those things, it may seem like, well, no, I'm telling you, when you lose weight, when you take care of your health, it just breeds more confidence, and you feel like, you know what, I can take on the world. I feel good, I look good, I smell good, you know I'm doing good. So it's just your whole swag starts to change. Mm-hmm. And you just every time you come around now, it's more of a joy than oh yeah, you know, and playing like you happy, knowing that inside you really not happy.
Like we said, changes your whole reality.
Definitely.
But you know, the message of the video is, you know, health, taking your health needs to be, you know, taken serious.
Seriously.
As we pushing it like this because we've seen it. I mean, I've seen it recently too. I know my dad's seen it already, but like just what the situation with my grandma, she's passed recently and she from a health issue. But we knew about this like at least 2 years before it had all went down, and all she could have, you know what I'm saying, that would have helped her was changing the way she was eating. But because of how she grew up, what she was used to, being what they say, not taught, or just being how she was raised, programmed, or however else you want to say it, she did not want to, you know, change to eating like adding sea moss to the diet, or certain teas, or all this other stuff, fruit. You can't force it, like we said, you can't force it on them. So you have to, you don't want to have to slowly watch as, you know, something breaks down one of your favorite family members, and you know there's a way that they could be helped, but because of how they was raised, you can't do nothing about it. You just gotta watch and be susceptible to all this, even though you know what's gonna happen, you know what's gonna happen, you know what's gonna go down. And you know, my grandma was like a staple in the family. You know, everybody, she had like 7 siblings or 7 kids. You know, my uncle, aunties, or I think it might be more, but can't think of it right off the top of my head. But like, you know what I'm saying, everybody feel that. You know what I'm saying, you don't want to have to, I mean, it's gonna happen eventually, but you know, when you know what's going on is preventable at the time, you know, it just hurts to see it drag on throughout the years. And then you just gotta watch. Yeah, because it's not about if you gonna go, it's how you gonna go, because we all going, but it's how you gonna go. Are you gonna go at home, peaceful, quietly, still active, still able to
take care of yourself, or you gonna be in a nursing home with people stealing money out your account, people mistreating you, people abusing you. And that's not with all nursing homes, but we know that happens a lot, especially if you don't have family coming through and checking on you on the regular. Because once you go into a nursing home, family come around, but then they slowly but shortly, you don't see them as much. You know, they was there in the beginning, but once you got all settled in, hey, they got a life, and that's how they live. And they're like, hey, I got stuff to do. You got caretakers, you got people here, but you're not knowing if those people are taking care of you. People going in there and they family mealing, they not smelling good, you know, they not taking care of them the proper way. We don't want that. I definitely don't want that for myself, and I don't want to put that pressure on my son and the rest of my children to have to be taking care of me when I can take care of myself. I'm capable of taking care of myself. I don't need no caretaker. I don't need nobody handing me medication. I don't need nobody feeding me. I don't need nobody wiping my butt. I'm cool. I'm gonna keep working out. I'm gonna keep doing the things that I need to do to take care of myself physically. And then another part before we close is the mental aspect of all this. You see, because that plays such a major role, because we could talk about the physical all day, but the mental, it what dictates what the physical gonna do. So whatever you think in your mind, the way you feel, the way you think about life and how you go about life is gonna dictate how you look on the outside. So we have to understand the physical, the mental issue, the mental part of this whole thing. And when I say that, just think about this. If you know something if you know something may kill you, you know something may give you cancer. Just like if you go buy a pack of cigarettes, it says right on there. It tells you how dangerous it is. And for you still to smoke it, it's like, wait a minute. Just think about that. It says, hey, look, could cause cancer, may cause cancer, and a whole bunch of other stuff. It tells you right there. So a person ain't making you do that. We making these conscious choices because mentally we not really understanding. We read or we see it, but we don't really understand the message behind what they telling us. We talking about death. You know the commercials, and we said this before, when they talk about different medication, they talk about this could do this, and they go to they go to talk about the, what they call it, the effects. What did they call it? The
side effects.
The side effects can cause bleeding out the butt, or bleeding, this, ulcers, and the last one, death. You're like, hold on. But they say it, they tell you, but that'll be the last one. And they say it, whoop, and they keep on. You're not really.
They don't just say, they go, and could cause.
No, you hear it clearly. I hear it clearly. You hear it clearly.
They used to be all fast in the junk.
It's fast, or however they say it, but they telling you. Look, it causes death. Because how do we know that they say it if you know what I'm saying?
They try to speed past it. That's what
yeah, no, but they telling you, and we need to take heed to that and really start understanding these things are a part of loving ourselves and loving the way we feel on the inside, because those things are going to affect us on the outside.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Oh, and y'all stay tuned, because we're not just talking about this just to, you know what I'm saying, you know, fool your ears with, you know, certain stuff. We are actually gonna be, you know what I'm saying, doing some workout videos, so y'all can, you know what I'm saying, start getting in shape with us, and we gonna make sure y'all straight in.
Cause we a family. We a family, and that's the thing about, we all family, and we got to do what we got to do to help each other. And so he thought about, like, let's start doing these workout videos together. Let's give people some different exercises, like people that's, even if they in their own home, they can do at their home. So yeah, we're gonna be coming with some good exercises, and we always gonna cook some meals. We're gonna definitely watch the shorts. You'll see different foods on there, but we just really just focus on learning how to love and learning how to build our people up physically and mentally in order to contribute into society to in a way where it has a positive effect on all the people around them. That's just all we trying to do. We just want to heal, because we've been going through so much. We've been losing too many people. It's time to heal.
Yep.
Yep. So with that being said, you want to say something before we close?
I really want to do them push-ups still, but
no. You gotta wait, because you gotta give them the whole thing. They ain't ready for all that.
I ain't gonna do that.
They ain't ready for all that. So yeah, but I just want to say to everybody out there, man, we appreciate y'all. We've been rocking for over a year, since last year of March, and all we do, like I say, generational health and self-love. All we trying to do is continue to love ourselves and understand the importance of health and wealth. And when I say wealth, I'm talking about mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. But it's not just that. It's a combination of everything and building a life of success just by being ourselves. So yeah, with that being said, we out of here. Peace and love. Yes, sir.